Are you battling addiction? Let's face it, most guys are stuck in the grip of bad habits. Whether it's gaming, fapping, or drugs, they just can't seem to quit. And the worst part, they won't even admit they're addicted. Instead, they'll make excuses like, "Fapping is healthy, bro. You'll get testicular cancer if you don't." Or, "Gaming is good for you. It boosts focus and teamwork." Bro, come on. That's just sad. Real men don't lie to themselves. They're brutally honest about their weaknesses. Because the only way to beat addiction is to face the truth. Maybe you've already tried to quit. You followed the advice out there, but it didn't work. And you keep falling back into the same trap. Listen, breaking free from addiction is life-changing. But most advice is garbage. It sounds good in theory, but fails in practice. This video is the only one you'll ever need on this topic. We're diving into 5 proven ways to quit any addiction. Number 1, cultivate hatred. Most people have a shallow understanding of breaking addictions. They'll tell you to set a quit date or distract yourself. Sure, that might work temporarily, but eventually, temptation will catch you off guard and you'll relapse. The first step to beating addiction isn't avoidance, it's cultivating deep hatred for the activity. That's right. You start with hate. People who suggest robotic routines to overcome addiction don't get it. They treat addiction like any other habit, but addiction is different. It's driven by strong emotions, loneliness, boredom, greed, sadness. These unresolved pains fuel your addiction. We don't choose to be addicted. We choose to ignore our pain. No one else will tell you this, but the best way to fight addiction is by harnessing the most powerful emotion against it: hate. Why doesn't anyone talk about this? 2 reasons. First, society has a shallow understanding of emotions, especially how to use them to your advantage. Second, people label emotions like hate and anger as negative, which is far from the truth. Every emotion has its place, even hate. Think about it. If you're addicted to gambling or fapping, love won't save you. Happiness won't destroy your bad habits. To remove weeds, you need to kill them. Similarly, to kill a bad habit, you need a destructive emotion: hate. Most people misuse this emotion, wasting it in YouTube comments. Pathetic. True power lies in knowing when to use emotions to your advantage. That's the first step to breaking addiction. Here's how. List all the bad consequences of your addiction. Write them down. For example, if you're addicted to fapping, write how it steals your time, drains your energy, makes you feel ashamed, ruins your dopamine receptors, lowers your testosterone, and makes you a pathetic father. Go as dark as you can. By linking these horrible outcomes to your addiction, you turn it into your enemy. Read this list daily to program your subconscious to resent the activity. This way, even when temptation strikes, your subconscious will fight back. Before we move to the next step, remember this. Every addiction is tied to a strong emotion. Loneliness leads to fapping. Greed leads to gambling. While hate is a powerful tool to combat addiction, it doesn't address the root cause. You might quit one addiction, only to start another if you don't resolve the underlying issue. Use hate to break the addiction, but later dig deeper to understand why it started. Number 2, purpose. A man without purpose distracts himself with pleasures. It's natural. He'll do dumb things. But a man driven by purpose can't waste time on meaningless activities. Can you imagine Elon Musk becoming an alcoholic or a UFC fighter fapping 9 times a day? Of course not. Their purpose doesn't allow it. A man's desire to fulfill his purpose is 100 times stronger than his craving for distractions. No one else will tell you this. They'll give you cheap tricks to avoid addiction, but that doesn't fix the core issue. I didn't put purpose first because it's harder to find than cultivating hate. It takes time to discover your purpose, but once you do, it's one of the most powerful ways to break addiction. Number 3, do nothing. We're programmed to seek pleasure the moment we're bored or to fill our time with meaningless tasks. But when was the last time you did nothing? I'm not talking about lying in bed. I mean purposefully sitting still. Most addictions stem from an inability to handle boredom. When you learn to be okay with doing nothing, you're less likely to give in to addiction. Doing nothing also helps you discover your purpose. It reduces anxiety, sparks creativity, and boosts productivity. Number 4, fight dirty. If it's a battle between temptation and willpower, temptation usually wins. A single moment of weakness is all it takes. The key is to sabotage temptation before the fight begins. Stop hanging out with smoking friends. Keep junk food out of the house. Don't take your phone to bed. Disconnect the internet if you have to. Whatever your addiction is, distance yourself from it. You have to sacrifice to change. Don't rely on willpower, that's a last resort. Instead, outsmart temptation. Make the fight uneven. Don't give your enemy a chance to strike. Change your environment to make it as hard as possible for addiction to lure you in. Number 5, move. The power of exercise to combat addiction is often overlooked. A sedentary lifestyle breeds addiction, while movement kills it. Exercise improves mental health. You can't smoke weed while sprinting, fap while doing burpees, or gamble while swimming. It's hard to be pathetic when you're moving intensely. Plus, exercise releases endorphins, natural feel-good chemicals. When you get your high from exercise, you're less likely to crave artificial substitutes. If you want to level up in life, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Until next time.